How's it going? Thank you all so much for connecting. We are here with a little bit of an Astro Talk. I just wanted to touch base on a few things that we'll be moving through in the coming week, and maybe even the month. We'll hit on a few things here for September 2020, and this is for all the signs, just general sort of Astro Talk, and what might be coming up, for review here, specifically by way of certain transits, and it will always sort of depend as well, right? It will be unique to everyone. What energy does come through will always sort of be a point of reflection for how those energies naturally operate in your personal birth chart, and also how you're channeling those energies. So it's one thing for there to be a propensity, it's another question of how we choose to channel that consciously. So thank you all so much for connecting and tuning here to you, and that's why I really love astrology, because it brings us to sort of consider how we channel our energy, and it is sort of a period of reflection, right? When we take the time to really connect with also what has meaning for us, and in the ways that we also address that in a day-to-day way. So the energy will always sort of be, but astrology sort of provides this lens, as I feel it, through which we can perceive of how we are sort of being in a state of consciousness. Hello, Terry. Hi, everyone. How's it going? So, yes, and side note, the moon cycle readings are now up. The extendeds have been posted. I did those last night, and they're posting now. There are a few signs still that have yet to be uploaded, but Pisces is up. That will review September. Actually, well, let's say August 28th, leading into September 28th. That period reading is now available on the website alchemy.com, and if you click Pisces Extendeds, and you'll be able to access those. There is also a part 2. So I really, last night I was like, okay, I'm gonna do the whole moon cycle here for the next 2 months, and it leads into October. So if you are interested to see those readings, then feel free to visit alchemy.com, and those readings are up again. There are a few more signs that I've yet to post. Virgo, Cap, Taurus, Gemini, Leo, Libra still have yet to be uploaded, but we have Scorpio up, Aquarius, Aries, Pisces, Cancer, and Sagittarius. So thank you all so much again for your dear support as well with these readings, and let's jump into it. So yes, this week we have a lot here that will be kind of shifting, and we can say, okay, well, let's say for example, we'll pull an example here. Okay, Mercury going to Libra. All right, well, there is a shift, but it's also a build up, right? And I mentioned this in another Astro Talk. It was a week ago or so, when Venus was actually shifting, and I believe it's from Gemini into Cancer, and even Mercury from Leo to Virgo, and it's, you were talking about, right, how it's like, okay, well, if the sign shifts, right, it's like we can see it in that way of, okay, there's a new sort of energy space here. But it's not only that, right? Leading to that point where the energy does shift, it is also a build-up of the last sort of conversation that we're having. So, to get to that next chapter, we really have to write out the preceding one, the prior one. So, in this case, when Mercury, for example, goes into Libra, it will be culminating up in Virgo, and that will become a very sort of intense sort of archetype of concentration here around this time. 29 degrees of Virgo Mercury, while we have the sun still in Virgo, is a pretty is a pretty loud sort of conversation here. I'm hearing in this way, so I don't know what that's alluding to, but you can expect things to kind of become something you've been considering to become kind of louder and louder. I'm hearing that actually in a certain way. So I don't know, for example, maybe for a number of you kind of were considering something kind of lightly. I'm seeing that will become more and more and more of even an obvious question, maybe that you see in a different way as well, on a personal level with yourself, where you're like, I want to address that now once and for all in this really sort of official way. So Virgo is looking at the archetype purely itself of Virgo, we're really talking about Mercury, 6th house energies, mutable earth energy, and this is really about considering also the many different angles and aspects to a certain maybe topic of conversation, and really what goes in and what comes out, looking very closely at the details of a certain story. I'm hearing storyline here as well. So depending on where Virgo sits in your personal birth chart, if you have a moon in Virgo, there could be a focus on emotion and cycles of emotion and how you process emotion specifically. That's an example. So, but they will be so different for everyone, right? And if you want to work one-on-one together on this, we can do that in a moon cycle program. That's available via the website alchemy.com. Well, forward right there. All right. I hope to see a few of you there. All right. Mercury Libra, there's a specific message here for a number of you possibly, but if you are also curious to know, really like wanting to channel and actively address this propensity of yours that maybe it's like, how do I channel? I'm hearing this as well. Let's clear the energy and ground, specifically in the throat chakra. There's a focus as well in the social environment. For a number of you, maybe there's something that you want to clarify there. You want to kind of make very clear, even for your audience, and it feels maybe for a number of you kind of like a big shift that you feel like you're about to make. And if that is the case, then it might be really helpful to look at your birth chart and see where exactly this energy will be culminating, because Mercury already, and in Virgo, its ruling planet, or at least one of its ruling signs, Gemini and Virgo both being ruled by Mercury, it's really, really very, very much a serious talk. We could say in that way when I get to that 29th degree. In Virgo, we need to really know what we're talking about. I'm hearing that as well, and that may be what it feels like. It's like, I don't want to just kind of dilly-dally with this as well, is what I'm hearing. I don't want to just kind of like, just happen to move into that direction as well. So it really, I'm hearing as well, for a number of you, comes down to making things possibly clear, official, and be that you with you, where it's like, I want to really know what I'm talking about. I'm hearing that as well, like within this space, whatever this space is. Again, that will be different for everyone. So take a look at your birth chart, wherever you have Virgo, that might be kind of peeking into a little bit what your story is here, and what you want to say about that, and how you really want to say it. And that will be, I'm hearing it in this way, personal to you. At the 29th degree, really see that graduation point, and that's for you, right? For everyone here. That will be, your sort of like story. And no one else is standing on that stage at that point. So being clear on why you also want what you want. I'm hearing that as well for a number of you. When the planets reach that 29th degree, there's really that sort of emphasis on the sort of question of manifestation, what we're going to do with that archetype. And if you imagine planets at the zenith degree, 0 degrees of a certain sign, even entering into the very beginning of a house, there is that sort of feeling of, well, I'm new to the party and I want to kind of get to know my bearings. At the 29th degree, we've been hanging around for a while. We are ready to actually make peace with it, part with it, but in a way that is possibly consciously addressed. So, and if you have a 29th degree planet in your birth chart, there could be that sort of similar energy associated with that part of the chart. So if you want to work again one-on-one, we can look at your birth chart. That's an astrological report. It's a video report or the written. If you do feel guided for the video version, I channel through that. So, intuitively, I'll work with those energies. So take it as you will. But the Venus here in Leo as well will be coming through not long after we actually move into Mercury and Libra. So we have a number of shifts here, culminations, and let's clear the energy. I'm seeing that for a number of you, there will be a really big question when it comes to your social connections. And it's interesting because Venus rules the social paradigm. Leo is that space of holding the spotlight on stage. And so, there's maybe some sort of question of what does the stage mean to me? What do partnerships mean to me? My audience, what does that mean? When I am considering myself also as the performer. So for a number of you, there's something maybe you even want to cultivate, or you want to address, like, finally, I'm hearing that as well for a number of you. There's this breath of fresh air though when it comes to those concepts. But similarly, right, to the Mercury going to Libra 0 degrees, and thereby Mercury hitting that tail end degree, 29th degree of Virgo, similarly we have Venus in Cancer right now hitting on that 29th degree as we move into the 7th with Venus and Leo at 0 degrees. So we will reach that sort of culmination point of the waves sort of cascading up into the 29th of Cancer energy, and then we will lead into the zenith degree of Leo. So big questions around the concepts of also what holds meaning for us on an emotional level, in terms of our partnerships, and also what we create, our assets, what our assets mean to us when we are creating actively with them. What do we consider our assets, our resources here, and specifically those that are related to human resources, right? People, the feeling of connecting to things and even people and places on that humanitarian level. Very much that Cancer sort of question that, well, I'm saying be asking ourselves rather prominently around the 7th year, let's say, of September. So this is all sort of trailing out of the full moon in Pisces on the 2nd, and I'm sure you guys are already feeling these energies here building, and specifically accenting the high notes of Neptune, Jupiter, and they are both retrogrades, so just keep it in mind. There is a lot here maybe that's coming up for review, coming up from the past. And again, a really big question asked when it comes to how you channel that energy in your personal composition, right? So it's like, what do I want to create with these abilities? What do I want to sort of channel this energy through? I mean, especially when it comes to Neptune and Jupiter, the question is really, how are we consciously channeling that energy? Because Neptune is sort of like transcendental, okay? It doesn't really have naturally those boundaries. The question is what you see of this space as what you want to create. Interesting. And so, for a number of you, how many of you have a lot of Pisces in your chart? And where does it actually sit in your chart, if you are aware? How many of you know where Pisces sits in your chart? For example, I have Pisces cusping my 5th house. I do have some Pisces also overlapping my 4th house, 4th and the 5th. My sun is in Pisces and my Mercury is in Pisces. My sun sign. And so it's funny because I've mentioned this in the live. One time I was talking to somebody, I was like, yeah, my sun is in Pisces, and they were so confused. They looked really confused for like at least 15 minutes into the conversation. We're talking about astrology and whatnot. And I don't know, I guess we were talking about astrology. I was telling them, they were like, what do you do? And I was like kind of explaining. Anyways, did a little bit of astrology, and they were like, okay, so 15 minutes later, they're like, wait, so you have a son? I'm like, no, I was like, okay, got it. It's my sun sign. Everybody has a sun sign, not my son. I'm okay, not married. All right, don't have kids yet. All right, so yeah. Take it as you will. But anyhow, just kind of coming to mind. But anyway, so yeah, I have Pisces overlapping. Those who may not be too also familiar with Pisces energy, or your birth chart, it might be a wonderful time to take a look. You might end up having like 5-6 planets in Pisces. Maybe your sun is in Pisces. You could also have your sun sign. Maybe your moon sign could also be in Pisces. And that would suggest that you have so lot of Pisces. Yeah, Jesse, it's funny. They literally were so confused. And I was confused. I was like, why do they look confused? It's not that confusing, right? It's a sun sign. Okay. Anyways, so they're like looking at me kind of like up and down. They're like, you have a sun? I don't know. It's funny. But yeah, so anyways, yeah, so my sun is in Pisces. My sun sign. That would get old. Okay. And it's kind of like, well, depending on what house placement, okay. But anyways, so my Neptune is in my 3rd house. And so there's a ruler of Pisces in the house of Gemini for me and Capricorn. There are all kinds of different, aspects to how the energy can manifest, whether planets might be conjunct, and what sign is ruling that house that planet's also placed in. So, take it as you will. But how many of you, again, Terry, how many of you are aware of where Pisces sits in your birth chart? Oh, wow. Paige, you have Neptune on the rising? Interesting. So, Venus, yes, Sun and Mercury in the 10th house. Wow. It's a highest point in the birth chart. Cass says Pisces is my sun in the 5th house. And Chiron in the 5th. Is your Chiron in Pisces as well? Lise has moon in Pisces. People think I'm kind of mean sometimes and just kind of moody sometimes. Moon in Pisces, no. People may find that it's very difficult to read you at times, possibly. All right, what house is it in? You never know. Oh, rising. Okay, so Sun is in the 11th and Mercury in the 10th house, says Venus. So, Jessica, yeah, we got a lot of Pisces. Just like, watch out, everyone. Just I don't want to blow you over with this wave of Pisces energy. That I am pulled also Pisces Sun, Pisces Moon, Pisces Venus, Pisces Mercury. Punch my ticket now. I'm ready for Polar Express, and wherever it takes me. Woo, Jessica, it's a lot of Pisces. Very, very, very intense. I remember, that. So yeah, take it as you will. Oh my sister has a Pisces Venus, and that alone, well, that is the exalted placement for Venus. It's actually very, very pronounced in Pisces, in the constellation of Pisces. It's considered the artist placement. I know, Jesse, right? Jesus, watch out. My. Moonchild. Hi. Halo, you also have a moon in Pisces, Uranus in Pisces. Wow. very, very, very sentimental. Can be very sentimental. Which house? Now, for a number of you, there is a lot of a lot of coming of coming to a point of connecting with. I'm hearing cool. Let's clear it. For a number, I'm hearing communicating about what we feel. I'm hearing that with the full moon in Pisces, and this is a very nebulous sort of energy we can say, right? The full moon is very, in Pisces, is very, very concentrated Neptunian energy. And just start to prepare now, okay? Just start to really get your saddle situated. I'm hearing that as well. For a number of you, I would not really all too highly recommend water activities and sports around this time. I would recommend more so just as well because we have so, but it always takes you well, but as you feel guided. But the Neptune retro, Jupiter retro, I know how to swim until Saturday rolls around and I don't know if I am sinking or something. I don't know what that's going to. So, that might be a metaphor for a number of you, but it's like, it may be difficult to ground around that period of time, especially with a lot of Pisces. Jessica, don't even use the toilet that day, Jessica, okay? Don't even try to flush it. Okay. Oh, gosh. I think I'm melting. Don't even watch movies, shows about water. I'm hearing that water energy. Jessica says, "Yup, it's for making me out of it. I don't like it." What does that mean? Okay, so let's clear the energy and ground. So, it's a lot of water energy, and so just start to know, find your way to the shore. The sand, where is it? Just start to kind of feel it out. Like, I don't know what that's going to, but for a number of you, if you know, and we had a major warning reading there for you, Pisces. Who's a sun sign Pisces? How many of you are a sun sign Pisces? Even, anyone who's got a lot of planets Pisces, there was a big conversation there happening. I'm hearing with also your doctor. I don't know what that's going to, but for those of you who are like, I'll be fine, I don't need to use the restroom, I'm hearing before I head out. I don't know what that's going to. That reading. Oh, are you sun sign Pisces, Carissa? Oh, yeah. That was a pretty big warning there with a not to strike fear, but it's you never know when Neptune hits. Like, and Neptune, when it went retro, that was a June 20th. Yeah, lovely. Lovely. That was the most freaky, intense period, I think, of the year. A lot coming up that we don't really know how to define possibly at times. So, having that knowingness of what we can count on that is grounded around those times could be really helpful. And drink water, but don't dilute. I'm hearing that as well. Again, really important to ground. So, okay. Does everybody have a way of doing that? Do you guys know what grounding is even, or how to do it? Like, how many of you are aware you ground, let's say even on a daily basis? How many of you are like, I have no idea what that is? Not to say that you may not already do it if you don't know what that is. You might do it and you just the word grounding. I'm seeing that specifically. Do you guys like kind of have your mechanisms where it's like, okay, I know what gets me to shore. Let's clear the energy down to left arm. Let's clear that and ground. Yeah, for a number of you, be very careful astral traveling. Okay, know who you're connecting with. Know what there is a very important need to cleanse and clear the energy space. There's a lot that may come up for review to purge, actually. So it's like, if you're gonna be throwing up, like, know where the bowl is, sort of feeling, and that's metaphorical. There is a lot here that's coming up for review on an energetic level in the collective. So just have that in mind as well. And know what your story is. I'm hearing that as well in this space. Yes, clear the energy down the left arm for a number of you. I don't know what that's alluding to, but there's something with the physical body. It is something that I'm hearing Kundalini rising. You're having activation for a number of you. You will be. There's a very important period of time here that I'm hearing you will be passing. I'm not sure. It's like something kind of like with the, I don't know. Let's clear it around. Holy moly, you guys. I don't know, Pisces. How can I redefine this? Stand on the earth barefoot. Okay. as we inch towards a full moon in Pisces, spend more time outdoors, grounded, earth energy here, right? Anything that gets you out and grounded, touching the earth, actually, things that are physical. I wouldn't recommend astral traveling around this time, just gotta say it, like, always do what, you think, but, there's always going to be things that we may not see coming, or that we see, but that we don't, kind of know how to see, all the way through, and I'm not sure what that's alluding to, like, I'm hearing specifically, like, in relation to, like, you don't want to get, like, kind of lost in the ether, in the ether, let's clear it and ground, like, it maybe for a number of you, yeah, ground, very, again, Jessica, like, Jessica says, walk without shoes, everyone. Yes, 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 a lot of time, spend a lot of time, also discharging any energy that does pass through your system, because at this period, again, Neptune rules a collective. There is a lot that will be purged. So you want to really have that grounding of the vessel, of the physical body in the earth, so you can discharge that energy through, right? Not judging it and defying it, but allowing it to discharge actually. It's like, it's very similar to an actual physical detox. If we are detoxifying physically, right? You take pills that, let's say, cause die-off of certain bacteria in the body. You have to have a way of flushing that through the system, right? Otherwise you can't just build up. You have to have excretion methods for that energy. So for a number of you, you're really going to be purging around this time. It may not be your own energy. This could be something in the environment. For those who do associate with the archetype of light work, you will be channeling energy through. Remember to ground. And yes, so that's right, Venus. Whatever, whatever, people may have their different ways of detoxifying, right? And vitamins and minerals might be really helpful in assistance in this space as well, but technology, I'm hearing, as well, very important. Kayak barefoot. I will drag my kayak across the sand. Is that considered grounding? Yeah, no, and it's kind of interesting because Neptune rules waves, right? It does, again, water, right? Neptune. Okay, and then it might not be bad idea to read up on the mythology as well of Neptune and Pisces and all that, but but yeah, and then the full moon is like, that's the strongest sort of pull on bodies of water, is around the full moon. That's why they say, like, most women go into labor around the full moon, most violence occurs, what is violent take as well, but there's just intensity of energy. So how many of you are thinking of sailing around this period? Oh my. But it's, just kind of take it easy. I'm hearing that as well. I'm hearing, again, like, maybe if you're going to be doing something, like, for example, have a lifeboat vest on. I'm hearing that as well. Things like that. Have your methods of grounding. I'm hearing that as well. Taking breaks as well. Yeah, Brianna, the energy is very intense. So, do you also feel, Paige? I feel that something is getting more and more intense. Paige says, I swear every full moon gets more intense. It's like a contraction that's becoming, like, stronger and stronger. It's like, when is Earth gonna give birth? Oh my! Finally, like, what's it for all? When is gonna happen? Because, like, don't tell me Earth is not, like, preggo. Like, that's a feeling. I know you're pregnant. Like, there's something coming here. I'm hearing that it was, like, that kind of energy. And so, take it as you will. It's a beautiful process, but there is we are doctors here. I'm hearing that in a certain way of this process. Let's clear and ground ascension here. Now, yeah, so let's clear it and ground again. Sometimes for a number of you, you need to take alone time. No one is going to understand at times, and that's the point. Okay, like, people may not get it. It's like, they may not see the wave coming, but you do. And it's that moment, like in those movie scenes, where it's like, you see something, you start running a certain direction because you know what you need to do to be able to help also others from that space. And you don't have time to explain. You know what I'm saying? It's like something like that, possibly around this time. Take time for yourself around this time, Pisces. Pisces is an especially porous energy archetype. So you naturally sort of may find that you absorb the energy of others around you. So, be really aware of what you're also around this time, because you will be especially sensitive to those energy frequencies. So, and those energies, yeah. So, very much landing. Soulfully Divine 85 says, feels very extraterrestrial. I literally read that as sextraterrestrial. Neptune's like, oh, let's get it on. All right, we're not all like, okay, imagination, fantasy. All right, so yeah, I'm also thinking of traveling. Lise, I'm really thinking of traveling. Uh, um, hmm. Yeah. Things are they're just weird here though, you know. I really want to travel abroad though. I'm like at that point where I'm like, ah, ah. Oh, oh. Jessica, right now, like, do you mean like right this moment? Just like what moment? Time doesn't exist. I'm like 5 planets in Pisces, deep, freaking deep. I don't know where my knees are anymore. I'm just operating from the crown chakra entirely. Woo, Jessica. Are you spirit guide, Jessica? Jessica's like, oh yeah, tell me about it. Laugh face, laughy face, laughy face, laughy face. Definitely heightened sensitivity right now. Oh my. So, Marsha, are you in Portugal? Wow. I do lease, but yeah, I've been wanting to, yeah. But it's like, yeah, it's getting like real strong. I'm thinking about, you know, the next steps here. You know, even in terms of like investment, you know, but it's just so everything is so bizarre. So bizarre right now, you know, it's like, but I have this pull to, you know, a few different places around the world right now. I'm just kind of like, oh, ah. Universe wants me here, I guess, right now. Back home, but yeah, ironically enough during the Cancer season. So, all right. Venus and Leo in a lickety split. All right, but yeah, so yeah, I'm just kind of waiting for that time. It's been really interesting for me. You know, my South Node is in Cancer, so it was kind of interesting. This very strong Cancer, sort of like 3 new moon period is like freaking like, okay, universe. All right, the first one was like, come on. I was like, you know, enough, no, strong enough. Another contraction. Okay, universe. Okay, I love family. It's so funny, I kid you not. On the deck, the first card here is the Chariot. Admit it. Tell me you love me. What's that song? So, you know, you never know, right? When the universe calls you up at a certain point in time to arrive somewhere. Jessica Ann says, oh my gosh, Poseidon is around in other dreams too. Holy crap. Wow. Carl, you have Venus and Aries? Yeah, me too. Interesting. Yeah, so, but I'm looking forward to Venus and Leo. I really, really am. We had a nice punch of that Leo energy there with the Sun Leo and Mercury. It was just like it was a little stop on the cruise though. And then we're like back Venus and Cancer. All right, we meet again now through the lens of Venus and yeah. So a lot of purging. I'm hearing this again, possibly for a number of you, and so it can get so intense when you're looking at Vedic or Western. Through the Looking Glass Tarot says, do you use Vedic or Western? Question mark, question mark, question mark. It's it can get so intense. Like there's so much to each system, and you know, heed your personal tuition. But no, but Jesse, the Earth is like, Jesse DC says, the Earth is like ... Is it too late to add material? Emoji of the Earth. Listen, that Sag reading. Oh my, the Sag. Who's gone back and actually looked through that Sag apocalyptic reading series? That was so intense. I've been wanting to, but I last night was so just like trying to get these moon cycle readings out. We have, let's do some 2020 long-term cycle talk here. We got the Sagittarius solar eclipse. I was like doing the calendar the other day with the moon cycles that we'll be moving throughout the year, and we have the Sagittarius solar eclipse on June 5th. One second, actually no, December 14th, but that corresponds to June 5th of 2020, right? Given that the cycles can move in a year-long orbit in a 6-month period as well on either end. So to say, you know, today, for example, when we hit that full moon in Pisces, that will be also touching upon the the energy of, let's say, a year ago, that last full moon in Pisces, and similarly a year down and 6 months on either end of the timeline, so called, but December 14th, oh my, I don't know. Okay, all those 12 readings coming to a point of culmination. Okay. Whoa, okay, that was like, yeah. And what did you guys like think of those readings? How did you interpret them? Because one of them truly was like, I felt like it was a birth. It was very cathartic. It was, yeah. How many of you remember that reading? Cass, which island do you want to go to? I'm hearing Jeju. Jeju. That's in Korea, actually. Oh my. I have to look again at those reading series. Oh my, like, in divine timing, right? You end up watching readings when it's the right time. There's a reason for that, right? But same with, when we actually do the readings. Sometimes it's like I'll put on the calendar, I'm like, do the reading today. And it's like, so time is not relevant, right, to energy to a significant degree in some ways as it can be perceived, but it is not also entirely irrelevant, but take it as you will. But yeah, for a number of you, the boat, yes, right, Jessica, yes, Moonchild, the yacht, the boat, totally, like, and that was really, really wild. And in the last Sag readings, it was so bizarre because there would be this like boat siren that would go off like every few readings. It's like it'd be like in the background of the reading there would be this like boat siren going off, and I think once, and a fire alarm, and that was all in the Sag reading. Everything was in the Sag reading, like that was like talking about alerts going off and all that. So we had like fire alarms. And then I think during another reading, it was like the fire alarm was going off for the building, like across the way, and just like bizarre, uncanny sort of overlaps of sort of like synchronicity symbols and signs and all that. But always take it as you will. Matter of interpretation, but so yeah. And then it was like during the saga we're doing a lot of the reading. Well, to begin with, we're doing a lot of readings for Sagittarius outdoors beginning last year. It was last, I believe, October. We started doing like Sag readings outdoors, never really did readings outdoors. And we started to do that for Sagittarius, for Sag. And then 44 likes right there, 122 people in the room. And yeah, so it yes, the doc, right. And it was just like kind of like wild, like just interesting energy and very intense. I would say like overall the Sag readings were very intense. So yeah, but December 14th, then we hit that full moon. Was a new moon, full moon for Sagittarius just back in June, and we ended up doing like 14 readings. Like, usually I do like one reading, let's say Pisces full moon. Hi, bye. Okay, Sagittarius was like, let's say full moon Sagittarius. Come back like a few hours later, part 2. Like, and I thought I completed part 1, finished that. Come back for part 2, like it was just relentless energy there. So I don't know, take it as you will. However you want to see it, but December 14th, that will be interesting. Yes, and so I'm hearing Dionysus claims the thread. I don't know what that's alluding to. 1 second. Let's look up Dionysus. Sounds important. Let's look it up. Dionysus was the god of fertility and wine, later considered a patron of the arts. He created wine and spread the art of viticulture. He had a dual nature. On one hand, he brought joy and divine ecstasy, or he would bring brutal and blinding rage, thus reflecting the dual nature of wine. Let's clear it. I'm hearing twins as well. Very interesting. So, it's interesting because those readings, this reminds me of that one reading where it was like in the drum circle. Oh my goodness. It's like when I felt like I was like having a baby. That reading, that's what that reminds me of. So, and I think it was one of the last readings. Yeah, so if you want to watch these readings, you can head on over to the Sagittarius playlist on the channel. So playlist on the channel and click Sagittarius. Scroll down to like June and you'll be able to get to those. I think it was back in like May, June that we posted those, but yeah, so take it as you will. If you feel guided to also pick up some sort of like, I'm hearing crew, like some sort of like even like capability, you know, maybe not be a bad idea to like pick it up, start training, learning. Okay, I'm hearing scuba diving for a number of you. Oh, interesting. Okay. I'm hearing storytelling as well for a number of you. Interesting. So thank you guys for tuning in. A little light to you, and we remember as well have a number of planets retrograde. This is still right ongoing. It will be going up into the 2021. We'll quickly actually pull the calendar out. We'll look at that real quick. Mars will be going retrograde officially. We are already in pre-shadow, but it will be officially going retrograde on the 9th of September. That's right smack dab between the full moon and Pisces. And actually, it will be preceding the Mercury and Libra transit, Venus and Leo transit, and a few days after that again. But it actually will be preceding the Jupiter direct. So transit. So Jupiter will be stationing direct here. Jupiter, it will be going technically direct. Jupiter's right there. I don't know what that might be alluding for a number of you takers. You might cash out on something big time here, or win like a prize. I'm hearing that for a number of you. Interesting, but there for a number of you is yes, like there will be something that possibly will be culminating around that time as well, right? Jupiter going direct on the 12th of September, but we'll still have the push out of period. That's what I want to say. So even though Jupiter will technically go direct, it will still be in post shadow, and so just keep it in mind. You know, we'll have that all the way up into December of 2020. Jupiter will still be in post shadow for a few months there, following September 12th. So Mercury will also be going retro during October. During that period, while we will have a number of these planets still transiting in retro and post shadow, but Saturn will go direct technically on the 28th, so we have a few planets going direct. Technically, again, we'll still have the post shadow of those periods, especially with those planets in September, but at least they'll be going direct. But it can still be quite intense, right, in post shadow as well. So it's you know, there's a reason for these energies, right? To be in a state of review, right? So it's kind of like a class, a lesson. You have the syllabus, and there are things that, you know, reach that point. Well, it's time to take the final exams you're feeling, and you'll see that more so. You feel maybe that energy more so around the Jupiter direct period, about the 12th of September, and then around the Saturn direct period around the 28th, and then of course when they officially go clear, you'll really be feeling that as well. It's like, okay, we can throw away the books possibly, but you know, not to say that you destroy energy and cycles. That do they really end? You know, do they end? Yes, but also, you know, everything is sort of cyclical, and it's harmonic. So, in other words, these are just ways of reviewing certain energies, but they're still present. So, you know, okay, but anyhow, Pluto will be direct October 4th. Technically, it'll be going direct October 4th, but it will still have again post shadow as well. We have Neptune clearing in March. We have Mercury clearing in March as well, of the second stage of Mercury going retro. We then, actually the third, we have 2 times here that it will be going retro until we got the clearing of these major generational planets. We had a Uranus clearing in April. We just recently went into retro with the Uranus around the 15th of August. So Pluto will clear in January 2021. Mars will clear January 2021 as well. Saturn will clear January 2021. So we're going to be sitting here a little bit of time, you know, with these planets and reviewing what they are sort of asking of us to reflect upon. Always take it as you will, again. But Uranus here will go direct technically January 2021. And then again, it will be officially clearing in April. So any more notes here? But yes, always, again, it's a matter of how you're interpreting, right? Certain cycle of energy as well. So whatever you feel guided to also like, I'm hearing experience during certain times, like, everybody will be interacting with these energy in different ways. So, take it as you will. But let's clear the energy. Let's clear that and ground. 1 second. Mars will technically go direct November. But again, then we'll still have that post shadow. So, take it as you will. And we'll have the new moon in Virgo as well on the 17th of September. So, every month we'll have, like, say, more or less one new moon and one full moon. So these are sort of micro sort of aspects of culmination to the collective sort of orbit of working with the archetypes. But then we'll have these larger sort of orbits that we will see through the retrograde planet. So take it as you will. Again, love and light to you all. Thank you for tuning into you, and I'll see you guys again soon. Remember, the moon cycle readings are now out. Feel free to check those out. If you like a private reading, the 1 to 8 turnaround reading is still available. If you would like one in time for the full moon in Pisces coming up. All right, love and light to you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you soon.